So first of all, it's this session is a part of Microsoft AI Skills Fest, and it would be great if you could register on the MS AI Skills Fest website. And today's session is on building and extending agent experiences with Copilot Studio. So yes, register for the session and for the AI Skill Fest. And once you're done, we'll go forward with the session. So today's agenda, giving you a basic intro about Microsoft Copilot Studio, and then we have some demos on building agents and autonomous agents, and then we'll walk through the extensibility. So getting right into Copilot Studio overview, Copilot Studio is a part of Microsoft Power Platform, which consists of the following tools. These are all different tools that serves different purposes and extensively use AI to help users complete their tasks easily and assist user in the complex or repetitive tasks. And there are also a good number of tools like Power BI, which is used for like data analytics and making dashboards, Power Pages, which is again used for making enterprise grade web pages. But in this current session, we are going to talk about Copilot Studio. So a lot of us have seen Microsoft Copilot, which is LLM based multi-model now, which is an AI assistant by Microsoft that can be used by a lot of that is used by a lot of people for helping for their day-to-day tasks. And how does it help business, or how business are using it to transform and drive impact? Let's get into it. So Copilot have like a lot of people use Copilots for various tasks, such as doing automative tasks like writing emails or writing content, and even the researching on the internet. It gives us a very good summary of different things. And agents, a new thing that is coming up. Agents are basically very personalized according to your use cases and needs, and they are very much tailored according to your business. It can fetch data from your data sources, like from public websites or from documents, and they can work on behalf of your employees. Like agents can be used to simplify tasks like placing order, managing inventory, etc. Plus, another very good feature is it's connected. It's connected to a lot of power tools and also third-party services, which make it very easy to use and increase its accessibility. So let's get right into Microsoft Copilot Studio. Okay. Hey, I've completed a basic setup of Microsoft Copilot Studio on my account, and this is an application by Microsoft which can be used to make your own agents and customize copilots according to your needs. So, talking about building agents, Copilot Studio can be used for a variety of tasks, such as we can create our own agent, and then we can also chat over knowledge, like we have a knowledge base or data knowledge source, which such as public websites, SharePoint pages, documents, etc. We can chat on them using the Copilot Studio. We can have our own logics to these agents, like there are things like if I want my assistant to listen to certain prompts and reply back in a given way, It can be we can again define those logics in the Copilot Studio. We have actions and plugins. These are all the actions or tasks that we can make the agent perform based on our logics and based on the user's prompts. Multiple channels. We can deploy our Copilot agents at multiple channels. We can use them in the studio. We can also deploy them on a website or through our REST APIs, etc. Monitor and improve. As we know, data and analytics is something that serves a lot of purposes in current world. It helps us analyze trends and how good our applications are. Is user able to actually use them to its full potential? So my Copilot Studio also gives you this feature inbuilt analytics, monitor and improve, which can be used to monitor how much users are using your agents. And then of course extend with Azure, Microsoft's own cloud. We can use it to deploy our agents to for a variety of user services. So uh, while creating agents, there are multiple ways. We can get started with the easiest one. We can use a pre-built agent, give modify it according to our use. Then again, there are other ways such as natural language. We can use the chat tool in Microsoft Studio to customize an agent and to specify how we want our agent to be like. Then we have visual canvas. It is a drag and drop tool wherein we can set a lot of things like how each prompt is to be answered. We can set all the logics, all the actions, and then we can use it to or modify it and use it according to our needs. And then, of course, we have the code where we can switch to YAML and configure our agents using that. So let's get started with the first demo, that is using pre-built agents. And yes, so this is the Copilot Studio dashboard. Just a second. I have this set up on my account, and you can use this Copilot Studio by using through your work or school account. I'm currently using it through my universities. And when we come down to the this section, explore agents, and click on see more button, we have a lot of predefined agents which is loading. Yes, there are a lot of agent templates that we have already in use. Let's get started with the first one. For this demo, we are using safe travel template. So when we're working on the our agent, first of all we can give it a name. Let's say India tour guide, and then we have other options such as changing icon, giving a description for the basic stuff, and then walking right into our instructions and starter prompts. These things are used to modify how our agent is. Your, let's say, default instruction is your assistant allows to answer questions about traveling safe both domestically and internationally. Please respond in a polite manner. And let's add one more instruction. Suggest you cater to the needs of Gen Z. So suggest so I will suggest some of the options. We have also added one instruction which we can see how is it performing. Then there's this interesting section knowledge. Knowledge is basically our agent's memory, like what all it does know, and we have a lot of different options which we can use to configure our knowledge, our agent's knowledge. The most common and basic one is public website and the SharePoint pages. If we have a SharePoint page with a lot with our data, we can use this to teach our agent or put it in our agent's memory. But since we're working on a travel thing and we'll use a public website, I've opened up Ministry of Tourism's website, which will serve as the knowledge base for our agent. So we can show children. By default, there is also US travel, but since we're talking doing it about India, we'll remove this knowledge and then let's click create. And that's it. We have our first agent re- ready, and we can always modify it according to our needs. We can add different topics, knowledge, actions. We'll move into all these later, but we can use this test section to test how our agent is working right now. Let's say I want to travel in and explore some places during summer season. So yes, using the public website, the Ministry of Tourism website, we put as the knowledge of our agent. It has fetch this answers. We have like multiple options: Putri Valley, Tawang to Gokarna, Meghalaya, and of course the tip to stay related. And now you can use this basic demo to deploy to make your own agents. Coming back to the slides, knowledge. These are as I told you, these are the data agent's memory. We can feed in our public and enterprise data to modify agents' responses, and these are directly used for by the agents. So our next tutorial will be based on our agent that can chat using our data. And let's have it. For that, I've also made a data. This is a basic SharePoint page that for which I use IT help desk template, and in it I have just added this small table of devices, and in this demo we are gonna fetch this list of devices using our agent in Microsoft Copilot Studio. So let's get started with, and we are going to use the chart tool to make the agent this time. So let's get started. Create an agent to help answer questions about publish problems with Microsoft. So it has recognized a prompt that we want to create an agent, and it is asking a name for it, and we can just use Microsoft Support Assistant. Let's tell it. Yes. As you can see, the name of agent is updated here, and since I've already made a similar agent earlier, it's showing us Microsoft Support Assistant 1. And talking about, let's define the instructions for the Microsoft Support Assistant. Let's define what the agent should do. And okay, now it's asking about the task that it's supposed to do. And first task will be don't talk about products or services that are Microsoft. As we can see on the right side, it this point is a builder focus only on Microsoft products and services, avoiding any discussion about non-Microsoft products and services. Okay, moving on, let's also tell about our agent's tone and how it converses with us. Use a professional and friendly tone, and for troubleshooting requests, reply in bullet and format, listing the steps to resolve. Another point added up, we have instructed agent to use a professional and friendly tone and only reply in bullet point format. And let's add some data knowledge sources to our agent. And it has received understood that we'll use these three websites as the knowledge source, and we have to check mark it on the right side to confirm that we want to use these. And then It's asking if we want any more refinements and additional functionalities. I'll just say no. It says Microsoft support assistance not fully set up with the specified data source and functionality. So it is basically telling me that my setup is completed and then now I can create my assistant agent. And I'll click on this create button and wait for it to complete. And it's ready. So let's also add our SharePoint page so that it can help it can fetch data from there. We'll use the button in here. We'll use knowledge and at knowledge use SharePoint. Uh, let's copy. Okay, now we have our knowledge added as well. Let's move forward. Okay, let's ask our first question. Okay. So yes, it has answered our whole question, and at the end, it has given us the reference from where it fetched the whole data. Let's ask our next question about an error. So as we can see, this time also it has given us the reference, but along with that, it has given us step-by-step resolution, like we mentioned in the instructions when we created this agent, and also it can be seen as bullet point format listing. So let's move on to our next question to test another function, another instruction that we provided it will. And when asked about some other company's device, it tells user that it only specializes in Microsoft products, so it cannot answer about anything else. Okay, then as per the instructions mentioned, right? Now let's try to ask questions from our data source, the from the SharePoint page. So we can see this time in reference, we are getting the link for our SharePoint page FAQ section, and we have also the responses for how do we report a lost device and how to access the VPN and everything. So this was the demo for how we can uh, converse with our data sources such as our SharePoint page or our documents using the Copilot agents. In the next demo, we'll further extend these agents with more actions. So to work on this next demo of extended actions, we have to make some changes in the agent's settings. Go to settings, generative AI, and we have to shift it to generative and save. Once we are done, we can go to this section topics, add a topic, let's give it a description. This topic tips user from devices that are available from a share from device. So from the data that I showed you earlier, we have this device management page where I've added details of some of the devices, and I've also added the details about them. And coming back to our agent, this time what we're going to do is we are going to add an action that fetches the list of devices from the Shimon page. So let's also remove this. We'll add a connector, and then we'll add an action connector. We will search for SharePoint get items. We'll have to give permission for it to connect with the SharePoint pages. This usually takes some time to load. So okay, so in input site address will use the SharePoint page that we have already created 80 help desk. And for the list name, we're using devices. Let's go on further. The output that we get from this, let's result, let's rename it for devices. We further need to have some questions. We'll add a question from the user. What kind of devices does the user wants to have? So, what type of devices are we looking for? There are multiple type of questions that we can uh, choose from, but this time we are just going to use multiple choice question, and we will put options as laptop. So yes, and let's rename its response as and we also need to have a query for which can be used to fetch the devices. We'll add variable management, set a variable, create new variable, the language filter, and we'll set its value to font. So in this one, what we have done is we have made a query which is status type equals available and asset type equals device dot topic dot var device type. So var device type is this choice that user selects in the question before it, and will insert. Yeah. Now what we're gonna do next is filter our responses based on this query that we just wrote. So that what we need to do is we'll take advanced inputs, filter query, and we'll put it and the what we do next is send a message. So you want to have a response back from the agent to our chat window. We'll be using message for that. And to make it to have a good looking response, we'll be using adaptive part. So we have this already have this code which can be used to make the adaptive part. I'll show you the resources for building it as well. I'll place it here and that's it. Now it will save. And this time when we ask the agent what devices are here, so it's gonna ask us what devices are we looking for. And these are the three options that we put in earlier when modifying it. Let's click on laptop. Mm, looks like it ran out of permissions. Let us connect it again. So as we can see, this time it has fetched both the laptops from our SharePoint page, and it has also displayed it in the adaptive card that we designed earlier. We can this time ask about other things as well, and this time let's put for accessory. As we can see, it only came back with Dock 4 and not Surface Hub 3 because it's not available. This is not so it is available. So this was our demo of fetching data from the SharePoint pages and extending it, and using actions to have a better way of representing results. Let's go for logic was the thinking or the flow that we define in our agent. This is the resource we use to modify the adaptive display. We can even use it to customize our chat canvas, add multiple type of responses, make it more beautiful. Then we can deploy our agents on these multiple channels. We can deploy them to our teams. We can deploy them to our demo website. We can use them in chat. We can also use communicate with the agents using APIs. Actions as I shown in the demo are different wrappers that can be used to interact with first party and third party services. There are a lot of services including both Microsoft and all other third party services that can be used to communicate with using our agents. This is a demo. So autonomous agents is basically agents that are automating our tasks. They can work as an individual in itself. They can help our users based on their needs, and we can define some repetitive workflows in autonomous agents. So work cycle as follows: there's a trigger, and then there is a prompt that agent follows, plan, and outcome. The agent completes the ask based on the data and the trigger, and also utilizes the knowledge and data for planning the whole thing. And then once it does the action, it comes back with the results.
I've created an agent to help
So there's a pre-recorded demo for autonomous agents as well. Let's go through that.
I've created an agent to help onboard new employees, troubleshoot hardware questions, and order new devices. Here, you'll see I've provided a description and instructions in natural language to define the types of scenarios I'd like this agent to support. These instructions are key to guiding the behavior of this agent. I've added knowledge sources and actions specific to onboarding and hardware troubleshooting. But now I can also configure autonomous triggers for this agent so it can run automatically in response to an event, not only when a chat trigger occurs. To do this, I'll start by choosing from any of the trigger options available, which align to your existing business processes or systems and applications you use today. I'll select a trigger to start when a new employee is added or confirmed to our database. With a couple of steps, I'm able to configure this trigger and select the table and the scope for the Dataverse record where this new employee information is being stored for my organization. With this new trigger added to my agent, it will now execute the appropriate actions asynchronously without me having to request any support directly. It does this by leveraging the actions I've configured and the instructions I've given it to welcome the new team member and order them new equipment for their first day. Let's test this new trigger. To do this, I'll simulate adding a new employee record to the Dataverse table by sending the employee information in the test pane. And I'm able to see how the agent identifies the right actions and knowledge and chains them together to follow the instructions I've provided. It first identifies the knowledge source for IT procurement policies and then welcomes the new employee. The key here is that the agent builds these steps on its own. They are not prescribed steps in any static order. It's determining in real time how to self-assemble these actions and find the right one relevant to this particular employee. To continue testing, I'll respond as if I were Miguel receiving this welcome message. And the agent continues to run, identifying the next step in the chain and leveraging the action to then list out all the devices available to Miguel. In addition to testing my new trigger, I can also view all the historical runs in the new activity page, giving makers insights into the autonomous actions for their agent. You now have the ability to review each agent run, handle exceptions, and make improvements. I'll drill into one activity run to show you what I mean. Here we see another dynamic plan that was created at runtime by this agent to execute this workflow for this specific new employee. We can see the connected third-party systems that the agent used. Clicking on the details of an action, we can further dig into the specific inputs and outputs for this action, which is invaluable for debugging the connected systems and APIs. We are also able to explore the conversation history to learn more and see how we can improve this agent's outcomes. It is now easier than ever to create an agent capable of handling end-to-end tasks asynchronously to streamline workflows, enhance productivity, and drive operational success across departments.
Cool. So that was a demo of how we can automate tasks like onboarding users using Copilot agents. Another task that we can automate is IT help desk services like creating tickets and placing different orders, employee onboarding. Again, personal solution concierge for sales and services, handle complaints. These are a lot of different use cases where agents can be used to automate. Autonomous agents can be employed to reduce the workload of your employees. Copilot Studios is a low-code platform which is very comprehensive and it's an end-to-end AI tool chain that can be used to create agents, modify them, and deploy them to the actual users very easily. So it consists of a lot of things like prompt plugins, conversation plugins, connector plugins, Power Automate plugins. Prompt plugins enables user to generate content with AI and call them via Microsoft 365 Copilot. Conversational plugins is like the example that we worked on earlier, fetching devices from the SharePoint pages. Again, these are plugins that can uh, converse with the data. And connector plugins. These are plugins that enable you to connect APIs through Microsoft 365 Copilot. You can, for example, ServiceNow connector plugin can list incidents via Microsoft 365 Copilot. Power Automate plugins, example, create an approval and send the adaptive card via Teams. So basically, in our company as well, we use Navi, which is a tool that we can use to communicate with a lot of different tasks, such as all the approved ServiceNow approvals and also fetching data knowledge bases all inside Teams. Copilot and Azure are better together. As you know, both the platforms are developed by Microsoft. Azure its own Microsoft's cloud and Copilot Studios. They can be used together to create a very easy to use and AI based environment. We have different tools that help us achieve all the AI integrations. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Microsoft Copilot Studio has a lot of basic analytics about the agent's usage and how good the sessions were, how long they lasted, and everything. And we can use these data-driven insights to further improve our agents as well as cater to our users in a better way. And congrats! This was a demo of building Copilot agents using Copilot Studio. You can confirm your participation by going through this link and using this QR code and share your success that you have completed this session.